everyone. Perry here in Park City. Right now we are at the Kia Supper Suite, and we are super lucky that we have Kia as a sponsor because we get to talk about super cool movies like Relic, and I have the team behind the movie right here. You guys know I've seen it and I loved it. Huge congratulations. How's Sundance treating you so far? How was the energy in the Ray last night?
It's been amazing, yeah. It was surreal to actually play it in front of a large audience after working on it for a year and a half. But yeah, we're all pretty stoked. I think it was.
Should be.
It was a good screening.
It's just very exciting to be at Sundance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
First
just
Sundance for
First
anyone
Sundance
here?
For me.
First
Oh
Sundance.
boy. Okay. Not first Sundance.
50 of them.
Did you give anybody advice for like making the most out of it? And
I was in a very bad mood yesterday until I saw the movie, and then I suddenly got into the most brilliant mood because I just really enjoyed it, which is very rare to enjoy something that you're in. And it was so beautiful and so brilliant that it completely turned me around. But I was behaving extremely grumpily and badly
She was
all day.
very charming. She's kind of like a Hugh Grant kind of charming curmudgeon, so she handled it well. But I did get a text from Emily at 2:45 saying, "I'm sorry, I was so ungrateful and miserable all day. Something, film's beautiful, you're beautiful in it, and Natalie's a genius." So that was how we finished the day, which is how we all feel.
I thought you were so charming yesterday. What are
She
you
was.
saying?
It's just complaining about going around to all the, you basically spend the whole day going from like one room to another room that's like two houses down and taking the same photograph and not even talking about the film. And you're like, and then at one point we were made to sit in miniature furniture, which was, as far as I could see, an advert for Chase Bank. And I was like, what is this? It's so confusing. So, but today is much better because we're actually talking about the film.
yes. So I think we've gotten a little ahead of ourselves because I do think that people are going to hear about Relic very soon. But we have a lot of viewers out there who do not know what the movie is about. So I must give this duty to you right now. Can you give a brief synopsis of Relic for our viewers?
Yeah, absolutely. Relic is quite a personal exploration of Alzheimer's, but told through a horror haunted house story. So the setup is that it's about three women, so a grandmother, a mother, and a daughter. The grandmother goes missing, at the start of the film, so the mother and daughter have to go out to search for her in her, very remote country house. But she comes back very soon after, but she's come back changed. So it's about the mother and daughter having to figure out whether it's the Alzheimer's or whether it's something supernatural. So,
Can you tell us a little bit about the proof of concept short and just how that helped you get this full feature off the ground?
yeah, absolutely. We actually had a first draft of Relic when we made our proof of concept. So it was a very conscious decision to make a much more succinct version of the story. Characters were different, but the tone, setting, and themes were exactly the same. And we were lucky enough that it played at quite a few genre festivals. And yeah, that actually got me signed with WME. And then from there, I'd already had my Australian producers cover films, but then we managed to find a US partner, a producing partner, and then eventually Agva Films came on board as an investor. So,
Jake Gyllenhaal.
oh yes, Nine
Yes.
Stories, yes, as well. So
Yes.
Jake Gyllenhaal's company with.
I was
Reva-
reading Haley's article. Thanks,
Oh,
Haley. I
right,
did my
right.
homework.
Yes, with Reva Marker. Yeah,
Yes.
she's great.
Very good team to have at your back here. And then you assemble an incredible trio of leading ladies right here. I was curious, though, is there any particular role that you felt you needed to cast first and then build around that character, or did it all just come together naturally?
I think there were quite a few conversations and brainstorming sessions. Obviously, it's a challenge when they have to, feasibly be mother and daughter as well. I think particularly, I think Edna's role, just because of the age range and the amount of actors who are, at a certain caliber and working, at that age. I think, I think we certainly considered Edna first. For practical reasons, and and Robyn was always top of the list for me.
Who here is a big horror fan?
Mixed.
Okay. You're not allowed to say no. You're in Scream 3, and everybody here knows how I feel about that franchise, including that installment.
Actually, those were like the first horror films I watched and loved. The Scream films, I loved them. Like I used to love being terrified, and then I guess I just got wimpy as I got older. But like, I remember watching Scream 3 and being really into it. So
That was
don't take away our joy.
No, and I loved that. I loved making that film. Wes Craven is just was just such a gentleman and such a brilliant, beautiful person, and I had the best. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I just arrived in LA to be with my boyfriend, who's now my husband, and I got that job, and I suddenly found myself just being chased down corridors in like 1930s mansions by a person in a mask, and just laughing and crying, laughing after each take. That should be therapy. They should organise that as some form of therapy. Get chased by a man in a scream mask with a dagger. But yeah, that was a very different experience from this. This was much sort of. I mean, it was a real sort of psychological. I don't know. It was a bit psychologically very sort of intense and difficult. It wasn't like a kind of campy horror film in any way.
No, I find it fascinating and extremely effective when you use horror as a tool to dig into certain very, touchy and difficult topics, because it usually brings out, nuances and can maybe help someone understand a situation more so than they would have if it were a straightforward film. But this is a lot for you guys. So what is step one after you get the roles? Is it a table read? Is it just a casual conversation between the three of you to kind of build that family history?
We had a table read. Were you there? Yeah. Oh God, I can't remember you. Yeah. We had a few days with Natalie and chatting more than anything, becoming familiar, I suppose, with each other, and it was the opportunity to ask questions about backstories and whatever felt we needed to know. But you
also, I was just going to say, you also, in preparation, I remember we talked about Alzheimer's a lot, and you visited the nursing home.
Yes, I've forgotten, you see.
Yeah, well, there you go. Maybe not so helpful, but I remember I had collated a lot of kind of material that I sent you.
Yes, I know, but it didn't actually really help.
Yeah, right.
Because I remember saying
it's good to
Natalie, well, because what I needed to do was just do whatever the script told me to do, moment by moment.
Yeah.
And that's how you achieve the entire arc of the story. It's just moment by moment.
Yeah.
So research actually didn't help me at all.
Yeah. So research is probably more for the writing, and that it helps to inform the script. But yeah, for these guys like Bella and Emily, we didn't talk about the kind of specifics of Alzheimer's at all. It was
I think I definitely just drew on personal experience and conversations that we had, and more just spending time together. I just remember when Emily, there was all this anxiety about like. Emily had this incredible series of events that like cancelled flights, and like Emily was like, she's later and later and later, and will she be there on the first day, and like all this anxiety, and then she turned up and she was just like this delightful hot mess. And I just immediately I was like, oh, okay, great, you're my mum and my best friend for life. No, but I feel like we just naturally fell into some sort of family dynamic, maybe because I think we just really all liked each other. Yeah. Well, I liked you guys. I can't speak to you.
I just really felt like I just was immediately struck on that first day of sitting around that table together that Nat had assembled just some really cool, like, just not usual people, like really cool women that just reminded me of people I loved. That I don't know, somehow just straight and no pretension and just down to earth, kind of cool, funny ladies, and it was such a treat. Thank God for that, because it was very trying, the filming process. It was really hard, and it was totally mitigated by the fact that we were together rather than some annoying people that could have been irritating.
But I also think it's something about the set too. It's a feeling on the set. There's an atmosphere on the set that's set by the person at the top, and if that's not focused and kind of quiet. Not. Do I mean quiet? I mean focused, I suppose. Really gentle. Yes, and calm. Natalie was very calm. God knows what she was like inside, but she was calm and clear, very incisive. She knew exactly what she wanted. She was demanding, and I trusted and respected her. So from that perspective, it was kind of not easy, but it just sort of, the follow through was there because the script was clear, she was clear, they were great, so it was good.
Can you tell me a little bit about your process as an actor's director on set and just what your note-giving process is, whether you...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really? Because, like, I
Apparently I'm
just
very
noticed the
specific.
props and all the set decor. Like, there's
Right.
so many very specific details that in my
Right,
mind,
right.
I would assume you'd have to map it all out.
Right. Oh, so do you mean the set or the actors?
A little of
of
everything,
both.
because the plot seems very specific, but at the
Right,
same time,
right.
it's just the world that you build feels very lived in. And in my mind, I just automatically make the assumptions you guys got to play in the house and kind of have a little bit of a free-flowing vibe.
We definitely didn't, we never actually got up and rehearsed scenes. It was more about, I think with the actors, just talking about life and sharing stories and experiences and finding common ground. I think that's always the most important thing to have a mutual understanding of what the character is going through, and then I prefer to feel it out on set. And obviously when you're working with actors of such a caliber, you don't need a lot of prior prep time to ease into that. It's not like working with non-actors or kids or anything like that. So yeah, I would say, I don't know, it's hard to define your own process, but yeah, apparently a lot of notes.
Very specific notes. Like I remember I think probably my favorite Robyn memory on set was we had the scene with the teeth brushing, and Natalie would just come back and be like, can you angle the tooth and then slightly up, but like slower, but more but more. And obviously she wanted, but without being like not saying I want you to look menacing, but she would just get really, really specific. And Ron was like, in my entire career, I've never had to do anything this difficult. That's what I said. Yes, she was so. We often got really stroppy with Natalie. In fact, she took it in such good grace. But you're very specific notes, and also performance notes, but very specific like visual notes.
But I think that was. I think that we'd get really stroppy and pissed off with her, and sort of be kind of grumpy. Not pissed off with her, but sort of be quite grumpy, like grumpy children being, told again and again that they had to do something and not doing it right. And then we'd go into our trailer, and I remember saying, "I think this means she's a genius." Do you remember? And we were like, I think it means we're in really good hands, that like the details are so important to her. And it was true. It's like you kind of got irritated but it never didn't, stop you knowing that you were in the hands of somebody that would really she really is an auteur filmmaker. I really believe it. And it's kind of, you just go to the ends of the earth for somebody that you trust. And there was something about her specificity that was really cool, because it was like, most people don't care about how you brush your teeth. But when someone does, it means that they are really creating a very specific universe, and that it's important that you care, otherwise you don't make something good.
Mm-hmm. That attention to detail really pays off with the build in the film, and I cannot express that enough right now. I have to say goodbye, and I don't want to, but really, congratulations on the movie, and thank you so much for your time today. Relic, keep an eye out for it. Another huge thanks to Kia for having us here at the Supper Suite in Park City. Like and share this video before you leave it, and stay tuned for more interviews from the festival.